What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Today I got another tech talk. I'm excited about this one. I have Xavier in the building. You know, super knowledgeable brother. Been working in the IT field for a long time, and I just want to bring him through so he can kind of bless my channel, drop some gems over here as well. How you doing, Xavier?
I'm doing good, man. Blessed in abundance. Thank you very much for having me, bro.
Yeah, no problem, bro. And anytime I see somebody out there that's just, putting out great information, good information, I always want to try to bring them on the channel, and put a spotlight on them so um, other people can find out about what they doing and how they can actually duplicate it or replicate it in some kind of way and try to, get in the field and do great things like you. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah, I'm an open book. I love to see people get into the industry, help people. I'm big into mentorship, community leadership. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm always keen to speaking.
Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, bro. But let me give a couple shout outs right fast to everybody in the building. I see you checking in. Dave, you as well, Xavier, thanks. Um, and then Easy Computer Solutions. Good to see you, man. It's always good to see you in the building. Um, and what I typically do is allow you to introduce yourself. So if you want to go down and introduce yourself, that'd be
Cool.
good.
I'll try and keep it as brief as possible, man. My name is Xavier D. Johnson. I've been in technology since about 2004. Started at the age of 12. Um, Went on to found my own software company while in high school. Uh, was able to make an exit from that company a few years back, and now recently founded a cybersecurity company called Enterprise Offensive Security. Been around for about 2 years now, and yeah, definitely happy to be here. Founded the local DEF CON group in Detroit, DC 313.
Wow.
Director over at MISEC, Michigan Security, a nonprofit. Sit on a board over at Detroit Public Schools Community District School for IT and Cybersecurity. So love to help people, get into the industry and love to talk about, technology and specifically cybersecurity is my
Mm-hmm.
number one thing right now.
Cool, cool, cool. So, let me ask you this right fast and sort of hop right into the questions. But I just wanted
Let's
to
get
ask
it.
you, do they do like a lot of outreach or community outreach? Because that's something that I was looking at doing here in Las Vegas. Because I'm in Las Vegas, and I was
Okay.
looking at trying to, you know, work with the community some kind of way. Um, can you explain what you guys do or
Oh
how
yeah,
you
for
guys?
sure.
Yeah.
So of course we're definitely sticking more pointed inside of the tech community, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for DC 313, our big thing is that we allow people to come together and kind of have a small version of DEF CON
Okay.
monthly, right? So we get
Mm-hmm.
together and actually get a bunch of pizza, a few beers, we put on a talk. So somebody actually either gets to present a talk that maybe they're presenting or something that they've been working on, some research that they have, or we bring somebody in from out of town to actually come and do a talk for us,
Okay.
and or remote talk. So that's the DC 313 thing for my sec. It definitely gets a little bit deeper into the community. We start
Mm-hmm.
to do things like resume reviews, mock interviews to help people actually land their first opportunities, as well as job fairs, those types of things. So it's definitely much more nonprofit focused.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they do the local. They do the local B sides, which is B sides Detroit, as well as another conference called the Converge Conference. So, a lot of the members are very, very keen to community and doing that type of service. So
Okay.
it's been definitely good to connect with both those groups, and founding one of them has
Mm-hmm.
been really rewarding and fruitful for me.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's cool, man. That's dope, bro. Cause like I said, I've been trying to figure out how I want to approach it and how I want to
Mhm.
go about doing some type of outreach here in the city of Las Vegas because I mean, yeah, they have a I think well, yeah, that one of the major is that the major DEF CON um chapter out here? Because I know they
Yeah,
started here, right? Or they started doing
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah,
DEF CON was founded in Vegas, so I'd imagine that
yeah,
that's got to be one of the largest chapters, if
yeah,
not, you know.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. And I've never actually made it to one of the conferences, man. Even though I've been living here, and I don't have to pay for a hotel. I don't have to, do anything, but
Yeah,
just show up. It's just, you know, jobs, conflicts and all
yeah.
that stuff
I
all the
know how
time.
that go. I
Yeah,
mean, I wish I would have knew that this year though, man, because we would, I drove to DEF CON this year. We would have just came out and had a beer wherever
yeah,
you was at. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You wouldn't even had to come to the conference. We just popped off the strip.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, for sure. Well, next time.
For sure. Oh man, we go to Vegas a
Yeah.
lot. Don't worry. I think we'll be in Vegas in a month or so. So we'll definitely tap in.
Okay. Okay. Cool. 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 So, so if someone was actually trying to get into the tech field, where do you think they should start?
Man, tech, keeping it real high level. I love the way that you call it tech field, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
because there's so much opportunity in tech. It's a very, very wide and broad industry with
Yeah.
all of these sub industries in them, and there's this repetition and replication of certain roles within the sub industries. So you can like pick niches and stuff like that within tech. So I'd say like a quick, dirty way in
Mm-hmm.
would be like if you're non-technical, I would say aiming at those project management opportunities, and as well as the tester opportunities, people that are testing software. Actually, becoming a software tester is a easy and quick way to become a penetration tester. Believe it or not, I mean, penetration testing is a form of software testing, and it really comes down to quality gates, right? So, I say that those are some quick ways in for sure. Becoming a tester that kind of gets you one level above being help desk. Help
Mm-hmm.
desk, you're much more responding to certain situations, helping people. It teaches you great communication skills as well as kind of hardens your understanding of some of the fundamentals. But when you think about the majority of tech, there's applications, right? People are pumping out 4 or 5 different applications, and even if they just have one application, that application is doing a lot of different things. Like Facebook, it has games, it has messages, it has pictures, it has a timeline. Those are all different small different pieces of software. So getting into the business of servicing, and when I say the business, I mean like getting into the habit of looking for opportunities that service the development of software. So DevOps, systems administration, that type of stuff. Being a junior systems administrator is a thing, right? Knowing that you may not be able to make a final decision, but that you can work underneath someone senior to try and actually do some of the systems administration work that's there. So I'd say sysadmin work, tester work. Those are good ways into the tech industry for sure. Beyond the traditional path of starting up and getting a help desk or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you do recommend people start off kind of at least understanding the basics of computers by getting one of those help desk type roles. Do
I
you
mean, if
unless you
you
automatically show you how the skills. And I'm sorry to cut you
right.
off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, 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 you good. I mean, it's a conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it really comes down to the mentality of the person and the type of technical role that they're looking to have.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really do help desk mostly because I was already the help desk for my family.
Okay.
So I knew what came along with that role.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't often tell people that that's a necessity for them to be able to get into the industry.
Yeah.
But I will say that it helps. But you just have to be careful to not get stuck in those kind of roles, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
support role. So, look for other supportive roles for different facets of the business, right? Not just the business IT, but also maybe the software side, also maybe the networking side, doing the services around the actual deployment and maintenance of these stacks. It will be a really, really good way to get your foot into the door as an entry level person, right? Somebody who's involved but not designing or implementing, just assisting in the implementation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I get you. Cause I didn't. start off in a help desk role as well. I consider myself kind of lucky because the first IT job I got was a network administrator or
Boom.
systems administrator, so to speak, because well, you kind of wore both hats at the end of the day. Had to make
Hmm.
sure the network was up as well as all the systems on the network.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's a hell of a good entry role too, because you get to
mm-hmm,
learn not only how to communicate with people, but you still get to use some of those hardcore technical skills, right? Like
mm-hmm,
logging into terminals, like what happens when a disk gets full in Linux, right? Like that. Sometimes that could be a pain,
yep,
trying to trying to figure out how to partition and
yeah,
expand the RAID.
resize, yep,
Oh yeah, and understanding RAID and network attached storage, that's the next level that I would consider, the new entry level. Help desk is definitely there. It has its place, but you know, understanding network attached storage and RAIDs and arrays and failover and duplication and exactly how systems are operable with each other will
mm-hmm,
definitely help you with getting into a more senior or more uh, higher end role beyond that entry level role.
mm-hmm, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree, man. So and let me address something in the comments or whatever, or let me actually shout out Professor Black Ops. Good to see you, man. Always good to see you. And Simon, yeah, he actually asked me a question in one of my comments of one of my videos, and it's good to see you in the chat or whatever. And I just wanted to at least let you know that the IP command, look into it because you can assign multiple IP addresses to one network device,
Mhm.
interface uh, device or whatever, and that'll allow you to. I think that's what you're trying to do. If you got any other questions, just send me a message or something. And sorry I didn't get back to you right away, but I put a link in the chat that'll help you as well. So appreciate it. Appreciate
Salute.
you coming through. Yeah. Um now, one other thing I want to ask you, once you get that role, like what you were saying, by way of no matter what way you get into tech, once you get that role, um, how do you keep your technology skills current?
Mm, mm. Um, I have an unfortunate answer for people. I spent the vast majority of my 20s. I just turned 30 last Saturday, so I've been 30 for 7 days.
Okay.
Um, I spent the vast majority of my teens and 20s staying home, reading dry books, typing in commands out of books and trying programs and starting businesses and working with people on their ideas and doing user stories. And yeah, I didn't party. I didn't have girlfriends. I didn't really make too many friends. So,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to take my route, it's going to be quite dry for some time. But, really, you're going to have to dedicate and put your head down. You're going to have to read books when other people don't want to read books. You're going to have to debug things that are really hard to debug, learn new concepts on the fly. These are things that are going to forever evolve your game. And really, what you're doing is you're building a mindset
Mm-hmm.
within technology, because what happens is the stuff moves so fast that you're not going to be able to keep up with it. So you're going to need to have the kind of mindset that you know is attracted to the mundane tasks, the things that other people just don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's where the premium gets paid. That's the reason why tech people get paid so much, because we got to read very thick manuals, remember commands like IP and what they do, and what an NIC is, and these things, while they're very, very high level to us right now, at the time when we didn't know it, it was, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so as you progress through this industry and you start to soak up more of what you would start to consider useless knowledge, there's this bleeding edge stuff that's out there that someone is considering useless knowledge. Like there's just the ever evolving, there's a dragging to chase, so to speak.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those people that constantly like to learn and constantly are intrigued with puzzles and new ways to do things and creativity, but still being practical, still
Mm-hmm.
being hands-on and technical, then
Yeah.
you'll really exceed and excel in this industry, because what it really takes is you sitting down, taking a theory and then applying that theory and doing it like rinse and repeat over and over again, and sometimes having a different outcome, but oftentimes, exploring what outcome even ends up meaning. So you
Yeah.
have to have a very open mind and be willing to do the boring work, because it may seem glamorous when people are shopping at Louis and they're taking these trips and stuff, but that's the reason why they're shopping at Louis and taking trips, because you know they've used 100% capacity of their brain for 16 hours a day for 4 weeks straight, and now they actually are going to come up for air for 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. I remember, I don't remember the exact question, but it has something to do with programming, like how you understand
Mm,
programming. And I made this reference to uh, you have to almost be like a artist. You know what I'm saying when
mhm.
it comes to programming, because you have to kind of change your mindset to where you can develop, new ways of or not new ways, but ways of using the language to your benefit, based on whatever you're trying to build, the outcome of what you're
Right.
trying to build. So it's
It's
almost like
poetry.
drawing something, yeah, poetry or drawing something. You gotta have that mindset. And so you're right, man. I definitely agree with you. It takes us a special type of person. You got to sit there and not saying be boring or still not have a life, but you know what I'm saying? You do have to,
Gotta
buckle
be will.
down.
You got to be
Yeah.
willing to put life to the side
Yeah.
while you're studying.
Yeah.
And that
Exactly.
was something that was like different for me, because I started off, making websites for DJs, party promoters, models, dancers.
Hmm.
Um, so it was definitely different, shifting gears from going out every night and being the only person with a laptop in the club, and having a
Yeah.
party bus company, but shifting gears into staying home every single day
Hmm.
and just programming all night, still being up at the same time as everybody else, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning, but like working, right?
Yeah.
And it was it does take that level of dedication for a period in life. That's all I'll say. I won't say that the rest of your life will be that, but
Hmm.
for a period of time, you're going to have to train your brain on what it means to learn and learn
Hmm.
fast, right? Because that's what it really comes down to, not just learning, but learning quickly, because this stuff moves really fast,
Oh
like
yeah,
six
definitely.
months.
Definitely. Like right now I'm trying to learn MongoDB and
Mm,
um just some Python variation of Python. Well, it's called Aura as well.
mm.
So I've been,
Oh yeah, I know
playing
art.
around with Mongo, playing around with Aura for the whole data modeling, because I'm a database administrator.
Mhm.
So I know SQL, you know, I would say I'm pretty decent with SQL, but um I don't know. Just it's just technology keeps coming out, and different applications come out, and you gotta stay on top of it and
Oh
make
yeah.
sure you hop into these new technologies that are coming out, so you don't get left behind,
I mean,
thinking that
some
what you know is all you need to know. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So
right.
just because
Like
you're doing good now doesn't mean
right,
it's going.
tech is like
Yeah.
it's a foundational thing. It's built on blocks. So like you understand how to interact with an application. Okay, that's cool. But now you know how to use an API. Okay, but now you know how to use a RESTful API. Okay, so now you know how to use a RESTful API, but do you know how to use a graph API,
Yeah.
right? And what the differences is there. And then, okay, now you know how to use an API. Do you know how to authenticate with an API? Okay. Now you know
Hmm.
basic authentication. Do you know open authentication? Okay. Do you know open authentication too? Okay. Do you know how to securely implement or utilize? Okay. Do you know JWT? Like you won't know JWT if you don't understand OAuth. You won't understand OAuth if you don't understand basic auth. So
Hmm.
it's definitely like at some point you're gonna have to spend the time to understand what everybody else around you. And this is something I never really have told people.
Hmm.
The imposter syndrome really comes from we all eat out of the same pool of knowledge. And some of us learned about it earlier than others. And so we look at it and we have to jog our brain like, oh, I remember the first time I booted Linux. Well, somebody today, this is going to be their first time booting Linux.
Hmm.
So never feel like you're doing something bad by like doing it for the first time. you're just starting that clock. And in 20 years, you're going to look up and go, oh, I remember the first time I did that. But carry that energy and that spirit forward within the community and share it with people so that they can start to feel comfortable with it as well. Like, hey, it might be my first time using Linux, but this guy's been using it for 20, 30 years. And now he's here making me feel so much better about it that I feel confident enough to go off and start to use this. And next thing you know, that becomes that spark of ingenuity. So, when it comes to learning and new concepts, you don't know what you don't know. You're going to learn stuff hard and fast. And you have to remember that the stuff that you learned today is going to be foundational for your tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the quicker you learn it now and the more time you spend today learning it, in 7 years, those foundations are going to allow you to be able to work on something that's bleeding edge.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree, man, because I never thought I would get into database administration work. But that foundation that, I went through in classes, years ago, to like how to work on a Windows box has helped me, with the whole
Mhm.
SQL work, because I mean, pretty much all it is an application on top of the server itself. You still have to have some base understanding of how the server works in order to
Right.
manage the application sitting on top of it. So yeah, everything you learn, it will definitely assist you in the future. Like
Most certainly.
some programming classes that I took, uh, just by me taking, I think I was taking like .NET classes or
Mhm.
whatever, and we had to build like a calculator or something like that. Just understanding the concept of how the language worked and how you
Mhm.
did if then statements and select case and all that stuff actually helped me with learning Python. So yeah, what you learn in the past is definitely gonna help you in the future. You know what I'm
Most
saying?
certainly.
So
Most
so yeah.
certainly. Especially in tech. So if you that type
Yeah.
of person, like put your head down and learn it,
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's going to take for sure.
Exactly. Now, do you have any I always ask people this, but do you have any books you recommend for people that are, I don't know, trying to get into the cyber field? Because I know you're a cyber guy, so
So many books. Oh my God. If I had to pick one book, my favorite book that I've read, and I'm pretty sure some other author that I'm friends with is going to get mad at me, but it's Georgia Weldman. Georgia has uh, a really, really refreshing take on penetration testing. So if you can get her book, uh, Georgia Weldman penetration testing. Punch that into Google here. Let me do it now because I don't even remember the name of the book. But I read this book. I want to say 2012, maybe the year it came
mm-hmm.
out. I'm not sure. But yeah, the name of her book is Penetration Testing V1. Um, In-depth, a hands-on introduction to hacking. It's a blue book with a light bulb on it. That book
Okay.
walks you through, scanning. It walks you through enumeration. It walks you through exploitation, and it starts to get into like some priv-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like, I want to say, if you read that book, you're going to be in a position where you can speak and kind of work as a junior penetration tester specifically, right? Now, the
Okay.
thing is you're going to have so much knowledge before you get to penetration tester. That's one thing I want to talk to people about too while I got the opportunity.
Oh, go for it.
Penetration testing is not an entry level opportunity. Like, it's not an entry level industry,
Exactly.
niche, sub industry within our industry. Is something that requires you to have an expertise in multiple domains. So
Yep.
you have to be like a programmer that understands programming. You know why? Because how else are you going to find logic bugs in code if you're not a programmer? Right now, I'm sure there's people out there that go, oh, well, I'm not a programmer and I find bugs. That's because you leverage tooling and you've learned and you've taught yourself over time the way that the tooling is interacting with the execution of the program and what's happening. But at the end of the day, having programming knowledge would put you in a better position day one as a web application penetration tester than you came in with without that knowledge, right? So I want to be more effective on day one. And that's something that's really important as well. It's not about what you can do. It's just about where you are at any given point in time. So I would say that, being a database administrator, you're going to be able to understand SQL injections better than others.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to look at the bug and go, oh, well, it's telling me that it has an unexpected character right here. So what if I, take that unexpected character, but then I escape it and I go ahead and continue the rest of the query and I satisfy that query? What happens? Oh, I get a 200. Okay, what if I satisfy that query and then I throw an and then I do all the bad stuff that I want to do? Oh, look at the end of this payload, all of the bad stuff, right? It takes
Mm-hmm.
someone who understands databases and
Yeah.
writing queries to be able to actually do that. Does that mean that a person who is not a DBA can't do it? No, but it may take them, an hour. It may take you 5 minutes
Yeah.
because you're looking at a query and you understand queries.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with network penetration testing. You're going to understand what services are standard for a network.
Yeah.
You're immediately going to be able to say, okay, I know how to interact with SNMP. I know what I can get from it. I understand enumeration. I know what this service port is. I know, what usually runs on UDP. You're going to be able to find the needle in the haystack because
Yeah.
that's what it's all about, doing it faster, right? So I'll say that, when you think about penetration testing, think about it being a capstone on the other parts of the industry. I've had to be a front end engineer and then started to learn some back end development and then went on to be a full stack engineer and then started to be a Linux systems administrator and then I went on to be a cloud engineer and then I started to be penetration tester and then I moved on to red team operator. So like there's
Yeah.
like these steps that you have to take that typically you have to take. No one's limiting you, but
Mm-hmm.
typically those steps are like a easy path for you to be able to get to where you want to go. So again, that it kind of goes back to that knowledge, that building block of knowledge thing. Don't think you're going to pick up Georgia Weldman's book and like all of a sudden, or Weedman. I'm probably saying her name wrong. It's Weid in the
Weldman.
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
Weedman.
Weldman.
We
Weedman.
E I.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
a I.
yeah, it's
Okay.
an I. I'm saying her name wrong. I'm sorry, Georgia. But nevertheless, don't think you're just going to pick her book up and read it. And at the end of it, you're going to be like, okay, I'm a pen tester now. I'm going to get bug bounties. No, like you understand penetration testing now. You still have to understand all the underlying technologies that you're testing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and that's when maybe being a tester would have lent well to you because you're like, hey, I understand testing networks or load testing or software testing. I understand input and output. I know how to make a test harness and then that'll enhance everything for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. It's um I forgot what I was going to say, but because
No
I'm
worries.
trying to look at something else as well. I apologize, but
No worries.
nah. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It just came back to me. um, that's something that I try to say all the time, man. You can't just hop into, cybersecurity without those foundations. And I've had plenty of people come on the channel say the exact same thing that you're saying right now. It's very important to have those foundations because if you don't have the foundation, you can't. I mean, never mind. You've already said it. I mean, you can't.
Hmm.
You can't figure out the or find the anomalies if you don't understand what exactly is going on
What's the
in that.
baseline?
Yeah, that baseline. So
Yeah, you
I
pick up a
agree.
brand new car, you listen to the engine, you like, is the engine ticking? Well,
Hmm.
go to the dealership and turn on the brand new car. Do it got that little?
Yeah.
Some engines just run like that.
Yeah.
All the Chevys do. They call it the sewing machine. I remember
Hmm.
hearing it being shell shocked. Like, wait, that sound like my engine ticking. Like, I come from Ford. Our engines don't sound like that.
Yeah.
That's how engine sound. That's how Chevy engine sound when they running good, man. It's
Hmm.
so having that knowledge just
Yeah.
that it helps.
Exactly. And salute to Pearson Cybersecurity. She's in the building. Good to see you. She say I
Hey,
just
hey,
started AWS training today. Yeah, good for you,
congrats.
man. Always learning. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what we trying to push, is you gotta have that continuation or that urge to always want to learn something new. So
Oh
uh,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I put the link to that book by Georgia. I don't want to mess up the last
Oh
name
yeah.
either, but
Yeah.
the penetration testing book. So um yeah, it's got like
Grab
raving
that.
reviews. I might have to pick this up as well cuz
Yeah, it's a good book.
cool. Yeah. So next thing I want to I guess kind of ask you um the all right, and this is kind of the like one of those controversial questions.
Let's get it.
Degrees, certifications, or both?
I mean, it depends on where you're starting from in life.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, you know how it go.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like I was lucky enough to have a computer in the house. My uncle went through Focus Hope. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? My uncle went through Focus Hope and got his certificate for computers way back in the day. I don't know what cert he got, but he got a computer certificate and started to work back in the day. And help desk where it was actually a desk somewhere where you had to check into and go and run and kick somebody's computer or plug it up or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so going to work with him, I was able to actually see a lot of this stuff just come to life for
Mm-hmm.
me. But if I grew up in a different situation, I might have needed a different level of inspiration. I might not have had as much experience at the points in time that I may have, needed to leverage some of that wisdom already. So I'm very humble and introspective to know that like my journey is unique and that some people may need degrees. And after
Yeah.
their degree, because of the way that college works and it is a pipeline and it is school, you're going to potentially need some specific training, like,
Mm-hmm.
something that's dedicated to a certificate. So I want to take a different stance than a lot of people just like, oh, you don't need a certificate. Oh, you don't need a degree. Just because I don't have a degree, just because I don't have any certificates, doesn't mean that maybe my path wouldn't have been easier or I would have been able to generate more wealth or have better opportunities if I had classmates that would have been able to pull me in different opportunities or I had, opportunities in different, work industries because I don't have certain certificates, right? I don't have an OSCP. I don't have an OSCE. I don't have an OSWP. I don't have any of those cool certs. The two certs that I do have are AWS certs and they expire this year. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any Microsoft or anything. Everything I have is experience and just passion, right? And that's
Yeah.
a very, very long route. I mean, we're talking about I started this journey when I was 12 and I'm 30. So I've taken the longest way possible and I still don't get opportunities for jobs that I'm probably overqualified for. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had a degree, if I had a certificate, I'd probably be shortlisted and be able to at least open my mouth in front of these people and they go, okay, he has something to say and he's different, he's unique. I want to bring him in culturally. He fits, no matter if he's technically, has the acumen or not.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I will say that it opens doors, it breaks down barriers, and if you have the money, go do it. Now,
Yeah.
if you come from where I come from Detroit, Michigan. Okay, it's really, really, it's Detroit, Michigan. When the last time you've been to Detroit? Do you go there to vacation? Like, no, right? It's not a destination. I love my city, but at the end of the day, it's a rough place to come up. So, everybody there, like the graduation rate on high school is less than 30%, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody there is not keen to education. It's kind of like a hustler's mentality. The unemployment rate is high because everybody got to hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody hustle. Everybody make money. Don't get me wrong. You go to Detroit, Gators, Buffalo horns, jewelry, everything because they get it from within the community. Like we
Mm-hmm.
shop with each other, right? So, what I'll say is like if you come from that mentality, then you can make something out of nothing. You can get it directly out the mud. You don't have to go and have inspiration. Like you can make something out of a situation that is not supposed to even have been
Mm-hmm.
made anything out of. But that's going to take a longer route, and that's definitely an opportunity for you. It really comes down to how hungry you are, and and the decisions that you make over a period of time. But I'll
Mm-hmm.
say that if you have the opportunity to go to college, if if you can afford it,
Yeah.
if it's in the cards for you, do it, right? Like that's going to help you. But if you was like me and you couldn't bank when you was 18 and you didn't have anybody there at that time to be able to do a loan for you and you didn't have opportunities and you tried to do the community college thing but you just pulled in other directions and you needed to survive. If survival comes first, then survive, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
never give up on your passion. Just because I had to throw parties and ventured off into that world to survive doesn't mean that I didn't try and tie it back to technology. So even if you have to go out and sell hookah full time, or if you have to go out and work at a nightclub, or if you need to work at a retail place, think about how you can bring cyber to that. Think about how you can bring IT to that. Think about, the ways in which those industries overlap and figure out a way to spin more cycles, making that overlap so that you can eventually bridge enough of the gap to get over into IT full time, get over into cyber full time, because that's what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, man. Great information, bro. You dropping gems.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, but nah, you spot on with that, man. I mean, I always talk about one of my friends that I met. while I was in Afghanistan,
Mm.
and he was ex-marine, um, didn't have any college, didn't have any certifications, but was over there contracting, building databases for the army over there, with none of that, traditional, education. You know what I'm saying? He just studied and
Oh
learned
yeah.
learning stuff on his own, and proved that he knew what he was doing, and and excelled. He actually taught me a lot of stuff when it came to databases, because I wasn't into databases at all. Like, I knew my way around Excel. I consider myself an Excel guru, but
Word.
as far as queries and stuff, I always looked at that like, oh man, that's too far gone. Even the word kind
DBMS.
of, yeah, even just sequel by itself, the word, when I seen that, I was like, I'm not interested in that. you know and yeah, um but he just, I don't know, he was kind of an inspiration to get me into it, you know what I'm saying, just by just showing me a little bit and telling me what books to buy, and what I need to read and all that stuff. And mind you, I had the supposed education, you know what I'm saying,
Word.
degree and all that stuff. Um, and not saying you can't learn something from somebody that don't have a degree. I'm not saying that at all. But yeah, it was just, he just pushed me to learn it, and also changed my mindset to actually get in there and learn things on my own versus, you know, trying to, I don't know, trying to
Go
yeah, go
from
from the hip.
experience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because that's the thing. People get out of college, they're like, okay, I learned everything about this domain,
Mhm.
right? And then you get to work, and it's like, this is nothing. This is
Yep.
I don't know anything about what's going on right now. They're throwing
Yep.
new stuff at me. It's proprietary stuff. It's stuff that was expensive that they have a license for that my school didn't even have or didn't tell me about. My teachers never had experience with.
Yep.
So it's, that's the reason why it's, you learn fast, and that's what's most important. Like, no matter what you do, if you go get a degree or if you go get a cert or if you teach yourself, learn how to learn, and then learn how to learn faster, right?
Yeah.
And the fastest learner in the room is always the best, because and the person who shamelessly learns. What I had to learn was that working in corporate environments, I used to want to reach from my mind versus going to go research. And some of the people who were getting ahead of me faster, who I looked at as like people who I like looked up to, they used Google.
Yeah.
And one of my homeboys' nickname, he was Google Boy. They called him Google Boy. They just come ask him a hard question just because they know he gonna answer it from Google.
Mhm.
So take that. It's okay to Google.
Yeah.
Like, run with it. It's research. So anyway.
Yep. Definitely, definitely. I agree, man. So, um, since my channel is all about Linux or whatever, I just wanted
Oh yeah.
to get your perspective on, how important it is for people to learn Linux, because that's one of the things I
Man.
push. So,
Man, my Uncle Paul, dude got me into computers. Had me on Linux early. Very, very important for you to understand Linux, Unix. The majority of the world is running on Linux, Unix. One of those two. And then a lot of enterprises are leveraging it for a multitude of things.
hmm,
So I'll say that if for nothing else, you have to remember that information is meant to be free. You
yeah,
have to remember that open source is very important, and to embrace it and to appreciate it and to love it is definitely a part of our culture. And
hmm,
I'd say that, when possible, leverage a free open operating system and or free open tools, right? At every opportunity that you can. The majority of the time it's going to come with higher quality because there's a larger number of eyes, and there's going to come with a level of integrity that comes along with the development process,
hmm,
as well as if you don't like something, you can change it. It's fully customizable.
yep,
So if you've only used Windows, just remember Windows is closed source. Everything there, we don't know exactly how it all works or what is all there. There's people working nonstop to reverse it, but you can't go read the code. You can't compile it. It costs you money. It may have come on your computer for quote unquote free, but if I give you a brand new machine right now without a hard drive and take you to Micro Center and buy you a hard drive, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing how to boot up a Linux, knowing how to actually leverage Linux for mundane tasks, looking at network, checking your email, browsing the web, just having a Linux machine around is pretty important in this industry.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I agree. And that's one of the main reasons that kind of I guess draw me to it, and I don't know, I kind of became a advocate for Linux, you know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
because of the whole open source, idea behind it. It's just, I don't know, it's just dope how, it values your privacy. That's one of the main, I don't know, aspects that I like about it. I mean, we always well, I always bring up, Windows, with the telemetry data
Oh,
that it pulls and shoots back to Windows servers or Microsoft servers. You don't know what they're actually gathering, that information, like how much information they're gathering and what
oh
they're
yeah,
using that information for. So I don't know, it's just
it's
one of those
intense.
things. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the same thing goes for Apple, right? Like it's a walled garden. It might not be 100% closed box
Hmm.
because it's leveraging a BSD, which is a Unix,
Yeah.
but it's still a customized BSD with binaries that we don't have source to. So
Hmm.
while we still can leverage some free and openness, is still tampered with, and to be
Oh yeah.
100% free and open is definitely a privilege. And I think that we have to take advantage of it, or it could potentially go away. And you don't want to have North Korea OS.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And shout out to Mitchell. He basically, based on your comment, what you just said, Mitchell, he kind of followed it up, basically saying never take open source for granted. It's a gift, and we should
Most
support it.
certainly.
Yeah, definitely, I
Most
agree with that
certainly.
statement. Shout out to you, Third Ward. Good to see you, man. I'll swing by and check y'all out later on. Thanks for coming through, though. Um, being that you actually own a business, um, providing cybersecurity services. Um, how difficult is it to actually get in and start your own business
Oh,
when it comes to that?
man,
And I know
it
you.
took
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
it took some time. It took about a year and a half for it to really click for real.
Mm-hmm.
I was working over at a company. I just thought I was gonna jump shit, go on, give me some more money. Founded the company July 2019. Quit that job in October after I got my first big contract. I had a couple smaller ones, but I got my first big one. It was gonna pay
Mm-hmm.
me like 70 an hour full time. I'm like, man, I'm gonna take that. Like, I'm you know what I'm saying? They got all of this work. So I went in there, we started to develop documentation. We got our first couple customers, made some good money over there. Right. We
Mm-hmm.
earned about north of 1 million, and I want to say somewhere between 1 million and 100 million. You get what I mean? Like depending on how you slice it, up to 160 for real. Depending on really how you slice it. So because we did government contracting, those
Okay.
government contracts are indefinite, and
Oh
like
yeah.
you get what I'm saying. It depends
Mm-hmm.
on how much can you bill out of it. Like the first year running it was sweet, at least through that company. But then at
Mm-hmm.
some point, things change and business relationships change, and decided to kind of end that current client that client situation,
Mm-hmm.
and started to shift off into more smart, like scaling with more businesses versus just having one large partnership.
Mm-hmm.
um, and so the more business approach was definitely kind of a rougher approach, I'll say. Having your own branding, have your own process, not leveraging anyone else's sales team to be able to deliver, right? Because focus on delivery is, you get to be in a really sweet spot if you just focus on delivery. You make a pretty penny, and you sit back and you just knock out hours for folks.
Mm-hmm.
But when you run it as your own brand, there's a lot to go into it.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a scale situation. So I say 100% of the money I saved from 2019 to 2020 all got spent, like in the first 4 months of 2021.
Wow.
So just surviving and scaling and growing and branding and innovating and tooling and just everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so over the last, I would say 7 months, 8 months, 9 months now, it's like about 10 months at least. It's been We've made that investment back. It's been growing. We're up to a team of six right now with two full-time consultants, um, one part-time consultant, and then some key business components. Then me as the principal consultant working full-time currently. So the company is definitely off on its own, and it's doing its thing. But the first, I want to say, 6 months, 4 to 6 months of your business, be prepared to have, depending on lifestyle, depending on, like, this is all going to be determining where you're at in the country and everything. But if you live in a market like Detroit, which is one of the more affordable markets, you need to at least have about 50,000 to 75,000 liquid cash, like in the
Mm-hmm.
bank, for you to really be able to, like, be out comfortable, continue to pay bills, continue to live the lifestyle that you were living before, especially if you were already living, like, I was already a consultant, I was already in tech, so I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
continue to live life as it was. It's hard to kind of downgrade life, especially with
Oh
ongoing
yeah.
bills and stuff. So it really does. This is going to be determinant on your lifestyle, but you definitely want to have a chunk. I would say about 50%, at least 50% of what you typically would consider a successful year, stashed away. And
Yeah.
at that point, you got to be ready to spend it. You got
Mm-hmm.
to be ready to pull on your full-time employee, pay them even when they not working,
Oh
and
yeah.
you got to be ready to go and get marketing, paper and digital. You got to be ready for everything that come with running a business. So you got to be ready for payroll, you got to be ready for invoice and how long it takes to invoice, you got to be ready for legal representation and review. You got to be ready for the sales cycle, how long it takes for people to actually sign paperwork, how long it takes for work to actually be approved, how long it takes to actually get paid and recover funds on the back end. You got to know what happens when you don't get paid. So, like, there's a whole lot that goes into, I want to say, the first 6 months of your business when you work in more than one big, large contract.
Mm-hmm.
But when you work in one large contract, you have this luxury of just not worrying too much about that, still having your own business, potentially still having your own team where you can spread work around. But you lose a lot of the, I want to say, freedom, and I want to say joy of what really means to be a business owner, like, being involved in the process, from the
Mm-hmm.
sales and from the delivery perspective, from the marketing perspective, having different products, that different services, opportunities that you may want to go after. It becomes harder when you're within someone else's shell. So um, you know that's the high level. You got a
Mm-hmm.
couple routes. You can stack it up, work full time still with somebody else, and then do something at night with your business. That's low and slow. You can only grow so much. Then you got
Mm-hmm.
the other route where you leap all the way out on your own, but you go and you just partner with somebody and they bring you work. But then that's really you just sitting on somebody else's boat. Even if you catching your own fish, they
Mm-hmm.
still want a piece of your fish,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
and then at some point you got to get your own boat, and that, I think, is the ultimate dream for entrepreneurs, and that's the most expensive route.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you need to have you a little bit of a long cheese put away. You're gonna have to have some business insurance and go through some bumps in the road. But what happens is, for my business, at least 100% of my customers are return customers.
Okay.
100% of them come back. I don't have one customer right now that does not come back. So much so that they're asking us to expand our business, our offerings. Like, hey, you guys can. We've spoken with you about this, and we know that you can do remediation. Can you come in and do remediation for us? That will allow us to increase our testing frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, let's do that. I know we can do remediation. Yeah, let's work together on that. So, doing good business just with one customer, and getting them to put you in other environments, introducing you to their other friends who have the same need, and
Mm-hmm.
then getting them all on a repeat basis, at least lets you have, like, that new base.
Yeah.
Then from that new base, go out and find those new opportunities and treat every customer like your main girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
sending flowers. We about to go out to go get a drink to eat. We watch a movie, like, and it's not literally that, because I mean it's COVID, but you got to actually
Mm-hmm.
get in tune with these people, care about them, try and help them as best as you can, cut discounts every way, every turn that you possibly can, make it hard for them to leave you. And from there your business will scale, because then every new customer is a retained customer. So
Mm.
you go from having 1 to 4, from 4 to 7, and once you start to get like over 7 customers on a recurring basis, now you're starting to get to that 20, 40, 60 a month. Now it may be a good time to jump out and find another long-term bigger partner where you can probably pull down 20, 30 a month just from them alone. And
Mm.
now you start to have like a 60, $70,000 a month business on the low end. That's just
Yeah.
like with you with a few consultants. So it's
Okay.
definitely possible, but you're gonna have to put your head down and really figure out. I mean, that's been my strategy. I'm very transparent about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I've followed Dave Kennedy. Dave Kennedy is the dude who makes the penetration testing execution standard. No, the PTF, the penetration testing framework. He also owns Trusted Sec and used to put on DerbyCon. So
Wow.
his business does this exact same thing. They've expanded over periods of time. The next thing that we're going to do is release tooling. That's the same thing that their customer did. I mean, that's the same thing their company did. It just makes sense, right? When something works, you follow.
Yeah, listen, guys. Y'all better be listening to this, man. He's putting out a lot of great information. I'm gonna have to contact you on the back end, bro, and
Most certainly.
and
I
talk to
love
you because
business.
I'm this is something that I've been working on. I kind of mentioned it on the channel a while back, but I'm looking at getting into some government contract work. So, well,
Yeah.
I work as a government contractor now, and I've been working for government contracts for a number of years, like different contracts. And I currently work for the but anyway,
We
um,
gonna we gonna tap in.
yeah, because I don't know. I was looking at going the training route,
Hmm.
so to speak. Just trying to see if they had any type of training contracts out there to just. Um, and I'm not 100% sure exactly what I know I was going to do Linux as well, but
Hmm.
something to the some more technical training that I was going to try to provide. But that's something that I'm planning on doing, and I kind of have a partner already. We were planning on, putting it all together, but we kind of at a standstill because of the whole COVID thing. And
Man,
yeah,
COVID rough.
yeah, and
I don't think
so
a
I'm
lot of
just
people
working
been
on that.
talking about how to scale a business during
Mm-hmm.
COVID.
Yeah,
It's not rainbow and sunshine at
yeah,
all. You got to be extremely creative and aggressive and different. You have to differentiate in today's market.
yeah,
It's nothing like when I sold software solutions. I used to just go sit in the co-working space all day long. People just walk up to me, "What do you do?" I build software. "Oh, I got an app idea." "Oh, okay, you got a
mm-hmm.
budget?" "Yeah, actually." "All right, cool. Give me 33%. Let's get started."
Yeah,
It's nothing like that now. Like you have
at
to
all.
be complete. Like you have to have all types of infrastructure set up to
Mm-hmm.
be able to really make a deal.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But so that's pretty much it on my questions that I'm gonna have to get you back on.
Please
But
do.
yeah, do you well, I typically ask people to ask questions. So if anybody got any questions, you want to throw them out there or whatever. But also, I'm gonna start dropping your links in there. Is there anything else you want to I don't know, put out to people as far as you know how they can
Man,
contact you, or you
listen,
know
hit me up on Instagram, Xavier underscore Johnson. Hit me up on Twitter. Infinite is my handle. INFENET. I'm pretty slow on LinkedIn. To be honest with you, LinkedIn is just kind of a shit show, for lack of a better term.
mm-hmm.
My email is Xavier at enterpriseoffensivesecurity.com. You can directly email me. I try and stay on top of it. I only have 41 unread. um, yeah, I do have a hotline that you can call in the event that you need something in the immediate. It is 833-4 SEC now. So if you need something like immediate, if you're having an incident that you need us to respond to, or if you have any kind of uh, outstanding penetration testing need or remediation need, we definitely can help you with that. I also sell clothing. So go to
Okay.
redteamclothing.com, all hacker clothes. We're going to be expanding out on that a little bit more. I've been running that company for about 5 years now.
Oh
Um,
man, I'm gonna definitely have to. What is it? Red team.
Red Team Clothing.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Red Team Clothing.
RedTeamClothing.com. Go check me out. Everything is print on demand. So it's bespoke. So anything you need, just, go ahead and push through. If you have a design that you want to share with me, send it to the email. We'll collab. I'm always open to collabs. Recently I've started to deal in jewelry. So if you got custom jewelry needs, hit me up. Definitely help you if you got a fiance, somebody you're trying to make your fiance, or if you want a custom piece or something like that. We like to do a percentage over cost of goods, so we can actually help you throughout the process. End to end, develop exactly a cost effective solution for whatever the look is that you're going for. So
Mm-hmm.
we do it all, man. We hustling.
Oh
A little
yeah.
bit of everything. The cyber is it's just what we love to do. It's a passion of mine. It's something that God gave me, so I'm running with it. But the businessman in me won't let me just stop there. So I'm open to more opportunities, man. And I definitely got some plugs for you for the government stuff. So go
Okay.
tap in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna definitely contact you, bro, about it because this is something that I got a couple of different projects, and this one of the projects. So let me just say it that way. But hey, I'm
Relax.
gonna definitely purchase some because I've been looking for some good, t-shirts and stuff like graphic tees, whatever. That deals with tech. So I'm gonna definitely have to get something off here, man, and support you. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
Yeah. But I appreciate everybody for coming out. Oh, someone did ask a question.
There we go.
Uh what do you notice is the biggest skill gap with companies that experience an exploit
Mm,
from a security standpoint? And shout out to Phil. He was my last person I interviewed last week. So if you guys ain't see that interview, that was an excellent interview as well. So check that out. But go ahead, Xavier. Sorry.
the biggest skill gap with companies that experience an exploit. So when companies are going through incidents, most of the time what we find is that they don't have any logging. And if they do have logging, it's default logging short term, 30
Mm,
days, 60 days, 90 days at the longest. And we found that attackers actually dwell on the low end at around the 90-day mark. So the biggest skill gap I'll say is detection,
mm,
right? Actually responding to active threats, detecting active threats is a huge skill gap. When I do tabletop engagements for customers, we sit down and come up with different scenarios and actually present them to them and see how they respond. Most of the time, they don't have an incident response plan, and if they do, it's not printed. And if it is printed, it's inside the office. So if
mm,
they have electronic locks and hurricane came through, it's gone, right? How
mm,
do you continue your business? What is your business continuity plan? What happens when communications go down? So I'll say like the ability to detect and respond is very, very low in our industry. Attackers are dwelling for a long period of time, and at the event that they feel like they are being detected, that's when they're deploying ransomware. So when something weird happens and you call forensics, they know that because they're in your environment and they know more about it than you. So what they do is they just say, okay, well, click a button, ransomware time, and then they get rid of all the forensics. People don't realize that becomes okay, well, we know you got cyber insurance. We know you already have forensics people here. What we're going to do is we're going to take all of the ability for them to do their job away, and then you pay us. And they now negotiate with us, right?
mm.
So if we could detect better without actually involving forensics and them coming in and being noisy and just stomping through the house, then we'd be in a better position as a community.
Now, is automation making a difference in that area
Oh, for
nowadays?
sure. Oh, for
Okay.
sure. I'm not going to sponsor any one EDR solution, even though I am partnered with one. I don't want to
Mm,
leverage your platform for that. I will say that EDR is something that is if you don't have EDR coupled with antivirus right now, then you're missing out on the lowest hanging fruit.
mm.
I'll just put it to you like that.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Um, Thanks for that information, man. I definitely appreciate it. But um, shout out to you. I put all his links in the description. Xavier links in the description. Check out his website. He has that phone number that he said earlier. If you guys wasn't able to write it down, is on the top of his website. I
Yep.
believe that's the right one. Yeah,
Yep.
same one. Yep,
833 now.
yep, yep. And Instagram, Twitter, and the clothing. If you guys like clothing, especially tech clothing. I love t-shirts, man, and I don't know, just all the graphic tees, and I always got something on. Like right now, I got on a Star Wars shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I love, I don't
That
know.
Death Star?
Yeah, that's the Death Star with
Okay.
Darth Vader. Yeah, it's super cool. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely get some off your site, man. But I appreciate you coming through. You,
Blessings.
yeah, man, you put out a lot of great information and just opening up, you know what I'm saying, so people can, you know, understand that, just because you work in the tech field, that we not approachable. We approachable, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
And if you need mentorship or you need help, people out here, putting out the information. And so
Oh, certainly.
yeah, all you gotta do is ask and try to get your questions
You're gonna have
answered.
to, you're gonna have to put the work in. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't do the work for you. Nobody could ever do it for me. And that's one thing I don't mind giving you the game because you're still gonna have to pay. You're still
Yeah.
gonna have to get into the game. Like it
Hmm.
ain't nothing I could do for you other than partner with you and give you opportunity and make more money and
Yeah.
build more of my empire. But if you want to build your empire, it's gonna really come down to you putting your mind to it and putting your money up. Because right now they printing more of it. So
Yeah.
invest it. Go spend it. Spend it on you. Don't go spend it on them, because when you go spend it
Hmm.
on yourself, you're gonna have extra to go spend whatever you want wherever.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah,
But
please, I want to see more entrepreneurs. I want to see more consultants. Even if you don't want to be a full blown entrepreneur, go out, get you a contract. Work
hmm.
work with another company that's gonna pay you a little bit more than just a living wage.
Yeah.
Like let's start to really hit this industry hard and get more people in here and kind of level that gap that we've been chasing so long as a community, as a people.
Hmm. And all the information that we kind of don't really know about. Like I didn't know people. You can have a. I didn't know that, man. I was working as a contractor, and I'm sorry, I'm going into a whole another conversation. You
Mhm.
brought up some more stuff, but I was working a contract one time, directly for a company, and it was two other employees in the building that I worked with directly. I didn't know they had their own company and they were paying themselves. And it was just two people on that contract. They created a partnership. They were
Mhm.
getting their company was getting paid and they paid their themselves from that company. That way that's how they were like a subcontractor, so to
Yep.
speak. Yeah. I didn't know people were out here doing this,
Oh yeah.
to get more money and cut out kind of the middleman
A fact.
when it comes to yeah.
Well, you just taking all of the money that they would spend on benefits
Yeah.
otherwise. They're gonna put
Yeah.
into your 401k. They're gonna put into your healthcare, your vision.
You can
Give
do
me
that
all of that.
yourself. Yeah.
Give me all that. Plus, let's sign a document so that it's business to business. So when things
Mhm.
get shady, we can do business to business type of remediations. Also, make it so that we non-competitive now. Like
Yep.
we I can go out and find a company that's just like you and continue to do this and expand my efforts. Being an
Exactly.
employee is definitely good if you need the stability. I don't have children. All right. So like I
Mhm.
don't have that other life to worry about or think about right now. I probably would have had to move different if I did. So again, I'm speaking from a place of privilege, and I acknowledge my privilege as a young millennial that got on this game. But nevertheless, still got to hit it hard and take advantage of every opportunity. So thank you very much for having me on your platform so that I can share some of this, spirit and just excitement, raw excitement about tech, getting people
Mhm.
into it. And man, it's always good kicking it with a bro about tech.
Yeah, yeah, definitely same here. Same here. And shout out to everybody that came through. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to you, Mace, for coming through. I'll try to drop by as well to your channel. I appreciate you coming through. But shout out to everybody that came through. And I hope you guys have a good day and keep it techie.
We are.